as I've sat here, and again, he's out there, like his agent has permission to talk to other teams or whatever. That does feel very much like, okay, some team's going to set the market, and then the Rams are just going to match that.
Yeah, I mean, you think the Rams will match that?
Depending on what the offer is, my guess is that he's probably, like, who's the team that's going to just give him the Godfather offer?
With the Raiders?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, again, Tom Brady is super involved. There was actually interesting. A bunch of the head coaches and general managers have been talking today in Indianapolis, including Raiders coach Pete Carroll, which still feels weird to say.
Yeah.
And
I was out there writing my story, and Pete was doing a bunch of the, like, local media out there. It's just like, I still see him in Seahawks. But
yeah.
I'm still getting used to it.
I think he still sees himself in Seahawks. But all of that said, I was surprised with how Pete Carroll was describing the role that Tom Brady plays in the organization, because for a long time now, there have been rumblings and then louder rumblings about the role Tom Brady plays, the influence he has on the decisions he makes. And the understanding was kind of, and again, I've had people, coaching execs, like, tell me directly, like, oh yeah, Tom's opinion matters. Tom wants this, Tom wants that. And then you have Pete Carroll say on the record today, when asked how often he talks to Tom Brady, you would think he would want to downplay Tom Brady's influence, because the man's not the formal, like, controlling owner. He's not the general manager, and he's not the head coach. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, obviously 7 times, but he's not that. And instead, when asked about Tom Brady, he said that Tom is available every day.
Wow.
And he's a very curious person. They want to have conversations. He's always available to call and text. And so there's all of these conversations. And I'm like, okay, well, then what does Tom Brady want? That's what I've been trying to figure out the last couple of days. What does Tom Brady want in a quarterback? And I was asking someone, hey, if it's someone with more arm talent than him versus a more maniacal work ethic, or maybe not more maniacal, but similarly maniacal,
in the ballpark,
what does he value more? And Matthew Stafford, I think, has the work ethic and the talent.
I
think that he kind of fits both of those boxes. And so if you are a Raiders team and you're trying to be interesting, if I'm Tom Brady, I'm probably being like, yeah, you should get that guy.
Raiders have $99 million in cap space. I mean, it's doable, right? They could do it, and this is why this is such an important conversation to have, because certainly from, like, a fantasy perspective, number one, there's gonna be a lot of fallout in LA that we have to talk about too. Like, whoever Stafford gets is gonna get an immediate bump in terms of, like, if it is Brock Bowers,
right?
If it is the Giants and Malik Neighbors, right. Like, there's that number one target is going, like, that is one of the things that people talk the most about, is like Stafford is a kingmaker in terms of the wide receiver position. Calvin Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, like, who is that next guy? I mean, shoot, even go back to the Detroit days with, like, Kenny Golladay was having his best years when him and Matt Stafford were just flinging the ball down the field in weirdly Darrell Bevell's offense. So yeah, I think I can see it. The Raiders one, it just, like, again, you have the best chance to win a championship if you're Stafford in LA. So I get, and far be it from me to sit here and, like, judge a man for what he does and does not want, but I think that ultimately is the question. Do you want to win the Super Bowl?
Win another Super Bowl.
Another Super Bowl? Or do you want to get another big contract? Because you've gotten plenty of those too.
Right. And also, he might not be the only one in the family with a say in this, so I think that is relevant too.
That is also
and I'll
relevant.
do that. The other nugget I'll say about the Raiders that I think is interesting is listening to Pete Carroll talk today. He was talking about a quarterback competition, and the question initially was more, or his answer initially was more about why he doesn't need to know now who the quarterback is. He talked about having a competition with Russell Wilson back in the Seattle days. Russell won it. And you'd think if you said, and he won it, which worked out blank, what adjective do you think he would have used?
Worked out well.
Worked out well. Worked out great. Worked out, we found a long-term answer. He was like, which worked out fine. And I was like, fine?
Fine.
I mean, like, how many Pro Bowls does the man have? How much is he cooking? There was 2 Super Bowls he went to. You won one of them. And I was surprised. But to me, what was interesting about that is I had asked some Seattle people around Senior Bowl time, hey, do you think that Pete would want Russ again? Because people were saying, like, Russ to the Raiders. And I was like, didn't Pete want to get Russ out? And they're like, yeah, but one of the best things about Pete is he has a short memory. And then now I'm hearing him say, like, Russell Wilson worked out fine. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes me question the degree to which the Raiders are interested in Russ. That's what I do. You listen to these interviews. Almost all of them are complete, like, we want winners. We want to win now and for a long time. And then every once in a while they say something like that where you're like, the way you just said it, to me, tells you how you feel. I could be wrong. Maybe they end up getting Russ. But that made me less confident that they will go after Russ.
Right. I mean, it's definitely on my radar. Is the beef squashed? Maybe the beef is not squashed, or at least there's some bad blood there enough to be like, we'll go in a different direction. So that's really where things stand with Stafford right now, and we're just kind of trying to figure that out.